Welcome to our broadcast. My name is Joe Doherty. I want to take a couple minutes of your time to talk to you about something called the Lawyer to Lawyer Network and the Lawyer to Lawyer Guest Network. First off, there's nothing for sale here and no sponsorship required. And I'll actually tell you exactly what we have right at the beginning. We have a legal talk radio network and a roster of broadcasts. Okay, it's called the Lawyer to Lawyer Network, and we're putting together a network of quality guest attorneys and firms to appear on the broadcasts. Again, my name's Joe Doherty, and here's a little bit about me. I'm a co-owner and producer of Talk Radio Philly, phillylabor.com, and the executive director of the Lawyer to Lawyer Network. I also host and co-host many of the broadcasts. We've been broadcasting and producing talk radio programming for the last decade throughout the Philadelphia region on stations ranging from Talk Radio 1210, WWDB Talk 860, Word Radio, 610 Sports, as well as stations across the East Coast from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. We produce a plethora of different genres of broadcast radio, ranging from sports radio with our friends at Jacob Media Partners, Joe Kraus and company, to business radio, to relationship and style shows, to the labor and energy shows and the labor shows for the Philadelphia area union community, again, with our friend Joe Kraus and Jacob Media Partners. Okay, and I'm here to talk to you about our legal radio network platform, which is really our legal networking platform, the Lawyer to Lawyer Network. To be clear, we're talking about talk radio broadcasting on major market stations, not podcasting. By the way, podcasting's awesome. We're just not talking about that now. To be clear, it's talk radio on major market radio. So having said that, before we go any further, you can pause this video, go to Talk Radio Philly, click on broadcast in the main nav, and the lawyertolawyernetwork.com to learn more about us, to see our roster of shows, and to listen to our radio show podcast. And then you can come back to finish watching the video. Again, that's www.talkradiofphilly.com and lawyertolawyernetwork.com. Okay, hope you got the information that you need. What is the Lawyer to Lawyer Network? Well, believe it or not, it's a lawyer referral network that utilizes the platform of talk radio to generate exposure and, most importantly, to create and maintain personal and business referral relationships. You might be asking yourself, why talk radio? Well, it's not only a great exposure platform, but it's an outstanding networking platform for professionals in referral-based industries. So our objective is pretty simple, to match and pair attorneys together on broadcast who have an optimal potential for generating referral business with one another. The platform of talk radio is an amazing relationship builder. It's kind of like, in a funny way, but in a totally real way, Match.com for professionals. Only the professionals are seeking to create, to do great radio, but also to create, maintain personal and business relationships in order to expand their referral network. So a great example of that would be a work comp attorney or firm hosts their own radio show, and they want to invite guests on their broadcast who might be personal injury attorneys because they're a perfect match for generating great radio, but also referral business. So the goal would be, of course, to do a great radio show, get exposure to the general public, but also, to create that personal and enhance relationships that might already be there, personal and referral relationships. So let's talk about the Lawyer to Lawyer Network. With the Lawyer to Lawyer Network, there are two types of participating attorneys and firms. They're the host firms and the guest firms. The host firms own their own talk radio shows on Philadelphia area talk radio stations. Most of them host their own monthly shows. You probably saw them, when you were, or you can see them if you go to www.talkradiophilly.com. You'll see our entire roster. Okay, our guest attorneys and firms, and that's what we're talking about here today, are the firms that are signed up for the Lawyer to Lawyer Guest Network who get matched with and invited on shows as guests by the host firms. So we're here to talk again exclusively about the Lawyer to Lawyer Guest Network. Again, there's zero expenses or obligations associated with the guest network. You complete your Lawyer to Lawyer match profile, okay, that tells a little bit about your practice and your specialty and your preferences about the types of firms you want to connect with and do business with. You get a listing on, in the network, and you receive up to 6 invitations per year to appear on the talk radio broadcast of your choice with our host firms and on our host firms broadcast. Okay. Again, there's also 0 appearance fees, 0 sponsorships required ever to appear on a show when you're invited. And actually, you're not even obligated to accept an invitation if you get invited. You pick and choose which shows you want to appear on and what invitations you want to accept. So we'll come to the final step. How do you become a Lawyer to Lawyer Network guest member? Simple. You go to www.l2lnet.com. That's the number 2lnet.com, and click on free guest member sign up. Okay, it's in the main nav. You create a match profile, you fill it out completely, and that's it. But you got to make sure you fill it out completely. Basic information about the firm and yourself, your practice, your specialties, okay, and then you fill out your match preferences, the types of firms that you want to network with, to appear on broadcasts with, and that's it. Okay, you can update it at any time. Also, you get a listing on the Lawyer to Lawyer app, which is a cutting edge new app that we're coming out for our Lawyer to Lawyer network. And again, you go to l2lnet.com, click free member sign up, create your match profile, and that's it. You become a member of the Lawyer to Lawyer Guest Network. And at that point, you're eligible to be booked on or invited to be booked on broadcasts, really up to 6 times a year. If you have any questions, reply to this broadcast, and we'll be happy to talk to you, walk you through it. If you're having any issues, it's a fairly simple process in regards to filling out your match profile. We're happy to answer any questions. We are going to take a short break, and we'll be back with one of our premier host attorneys to talk to them about their experience in the Lawyer to Lawyer Network. We'll be back in just a minute.
If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let Jacob Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call Jacob Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and attorneys and firms. I'm ecstatic to bring into the broadcast Sonny Banks, founder of Banks Law. Sonny, how are you, sir?
Great, Joe. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk a little bit about the Lawyer to Lawyer Network.
Awesome. So you've been really almost you've been a member since we launched the network back in 2018. Now we have an entire roster of show owners, firms that and attorneys like yourself that own your own shows, and so you were a great example of somebody who has been a part of the network for an extremely long time. If you would share with our viewers your experience, not only hosting your own show, but what it's done for you in regards to generating referrals and expanding your referral network.
Sure, Joe. The Lawyer to Lawyer Network has benefited Banks Law essentially in 3 ways. It's allowed us to enhance our existing referral relationships. It's allowed us to create new referral relationships with our guest attorneys, and it's actually allowed us to increase our case referrals from the attorneys that we have on the shows.
And so, having said that, by the way, one of the really interesting things about that, that process is you, as a show owner and a host member of the Lawyer Network, you one of the first things that you do after you have, you often do after you have somebody on one of your shows as a guest is send them a referral. Talk about that.
Absolutely. We make it a point to try and get a referral to an attorney guest as quickly as possible so that we can establish that relationship moving forward. In other words, there'll be an exchange of cases. We'll send the guest attorney cases in practice areas that we don't handle, and hopefully they'll send us some cases in practice areas that we do work in.
And so, having said that, people are probably sitting here going, "Talk radio." I don't, networking is one thing, but talk radio is an exposure platform, which is fantastic. It's one of the great things that our host attorneys get to do is share their platform, their media platform, with other guests that they bring on to the shows. Talk about talk radio as a networking platform and a relationship.
I was going to say that's really the focus of my shows, and I tell guest attorneys or attorneys that I've had on the program several times. It's about promoting their practice, and who wouldn't want to come on your show if you're promoting their practice. So that's really the benefit of talk radio.
And so, having said that, Sonny, I appreciate your time. Obviously, it's awesome. Obviously watching your show develop and obviously impacting your practice. I want to thank you for being here to share that experience as part of the Lawyer to Lawyer Network.
Listen, John, no problem. I'm happy to promote the Lawyer to Lawyer Network because it truly does work, and I want to thank you for giving me and Banks Law the opportunity.
It's our pleasure. And you've been a big part of developing the network with us. I want to say this in closing to our viewers. Okay. Again, we value the opportunity to have quality firms and attorneys as part of the Lawyer to Lawyer Guest Network. Zero cost, zero sponsorship required. Just the opportunity to appear on the unique opportunity to appear on great shows with other great attorneys as part of our Lawyer to Lawyer Guest Network. To recap, you simply go to www.l2lnet.com, okay, and that is L2Lnet.com. You go to the main nav, you click on free guest member, sign up to create your match profile. Remember to fill it out completely, and at that point, once you're a part of the network, you're on the clock. You get the opportunity to be invited up to 6 times a year as a guest on one of our fabulous Lawyer to Lawyer Network programs. On behalf of Sonny Banks, on behalf of everybody at Talk Radio Philly and the Lawyer to Lawyer Network, I'm Joe Doherty. We look forward to hearing from you and being a part of our network. Take care.
Thank you, Joe.